Thank you. Welcome to the Panther Report, the weekly news show of Georgia State Television. I'm Ariane Johnson.
And I'm Michaela Singleton. What are you so happy about?
Well, it's the end of the semester. Classes are finished as of Monday. I'm ready to relax and not think about school for a few months.
I see.
Why are you being so serious? You need to chill out. Be more like me. Get loose.
More like you?
Yeah, you need to let loose. You should come to the end of the term party I'm throwing this weekend. It's going to be epic.
But I think you forgot about something.
Really? Well, what did I forget?
One word. Finals.
Uh-oh. You gotta help me.
I have a better idea. Why don't we just use this week's show to look back on some of our favorite stories from the school year?
Well, how's that gonna help me?
You've obviously forgotten the first story of this semester.
Which is?
The best places to study on campus. Let's look back at this segment and maybe you can get a head start on your studying.
Hey you guys, this is Kayla Franklin from the Panther Report. I'm trying to locate the best places to study on campus. Behind me is the library. It's probably packed. We're just gonna go take a look inside and see what the students have to say about it.
5th floor in the library where it's quiet.
The library.
The library is good also.
The library?
I know this is sort of going to be a shocker. The library.
Believe it or not, besides the library, there are many places on campus to study. You have places like the Urban Life Center, which provides a comfortable atmosphere to write that paper or complete all of your necessary readings. There are a variety of places to study on campus, but let's hear what some of you all had to say.
So South's pretty quiet.
Okay.
I don't know. University Center possibly. Those are top 3 places that come to mind.
Also the Student Center is pretty quiet if you stay away from the food court areas. But yeah. And maybe like the cafeteria thing with all the little high top tables. I like it there. That's where I study.
Football study hall is where we usually go.
We're in the library stairs. It's pretty quiet. Nobody takes the stairs.
So no one takes the stairs.
No.
Everybody's going up the elevator.
Yes.
The 5th floor of the library.
Yes.
Cool.
Well, first of all, the 5th floor of the library, really quiet up there. Another place is over courtyard over by the law school. Really quiet out there. Not a lot of people out there. It's a good place to study.
When all else fails, there is the library, which offers 5 floors of study. The most popular are the 3rd, 4th, and 5th floors, which offer complete quiet areas for study. Despite all the great places to study on campus, there are always those ones that like to study, well, privately.
Where's the most secretive, like, where nobody can find it? Where are the best places to study on GSU campus?
My apartment.
So, are you feeling better?
Definitely.
So what story did you enjoy seeing this semester?
Well, there was the one on House Bill 87.
Oh, I remember that one.
I've actually thought about it a bit since it aired, especially after the students being arrested for protesting on Cortland.
It definitely affects the Panther community. Some of the undocumented students are urging University President Mark Becker to ignore the ban that bars undocumented students from attending Georgia State, which will go into effect this fall.
Let's go back and learn more about the bill and the reaction of the community.
This is a rally for the truth. Esto es un meeting, un rally por la verdad.
¿Qué tú piensas de esta reforma que está tratando de pasar?
No estoy de acuerdo. Yo creo que todo el mundo de nosotros hispanos tenemos la oportunidad que han tenido. Este es un país de oportunidad y yo creo que los hispanos también tienen derecho a esa oportunidad también.
Yo creo que es una injusticia porque muchas familias estamos aquí trabajando por tener una mejor vida para nuestra familia y más que nada para nuestros hijos.
Ellos no tienen ningún corazón. son personas que no tienen conciencia de lo que están haciendo. No puedo hablar inglés, pero quiero que lo digan en inglés. La separación de familias es muy triste. El no manejar con licencia es triste.
Immigrants are the foundation of the United States. It's that they work hard, they generate billions of dollars. Our state could not function without them. And I think all Georgians need to understand that.
I'm here working for the American Federation of State, County, Municipal Employees, Local 1644, representing City of Atlanta workers.
Alrighty, and can you tell me a little bit about HB 87 and why are you against it?
My understanding of HB 87 is that it's similar to SB 1070, which mandates that law enforcement check the immigration status of folks they arrest. While this is in line with federal law, I'm really concerned in that it's mandating criminal authorities, that is police, to handle something that the INS should be handling. Consequently, it kind of obstructs community policing functions by folks are really afraid to go to police to talk about crimes going on in their neighborhoods because they're afraid of their immigration status being exposed. Also, because of asking folks for their immigration status, I'm afraid that it'll disproportionately affect folks of color or folks who seem like their parents weren't born here or their grandparents weren't born here, like myself. My family's Indonesian. Parents came here about 20 years ago. So.
Aparte de que afecta mayormente a las familias, ¿qué otras implicaciones usted cree que esta reforma tiene?
Principalmente la economía, porque estamos hablando, las estadísticas del censo acaban de salir, no son números inventados. La población hispana está alrededor de los 900.000 habitantes según el resultado del censo. Son 900.000 ciudadanos que están ayudando a la economía de Georgia.
¿Hay algo dentro de esa reforma que se está tratando de pasar que usted está totalmente en desacuerdo? Un punto en específico que usted le parece lo peor que se le puede haber ocurrido a alguna persona en el trato hacia los inmigrantes.
Es discriminante realmente el hecho de que no. ¿Cómo le pueden prohibir pensar en que le van a prohibir a las personas que puedan llevar a una persona? Yo soy parte de la iglesia. Yo no voy a poder llevar un hermano inmigrante porque no tiene documentos, no lo va a poder llevar en mi auto. Yo no voy a hacer eso. Así me lleven a la cárcel.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Oh no. Oh no.
Arione?
Hold on a sec. I'm trying not to think too much right now.
And why are you attempting not to think?
I have to go.
Go? Oh, you mean go.
What else would I mean? You think I'm bouncing like this for exercise, girl?
Just calm down. While the rest of us are watching the next clip on the best of spring semester, you go run down the hall.
Okay, can you handle the studio on your own?
I think I can handle it.
Okay, great.
Okay. In our next story, we'll revisit the story where we found the best bathrooms on campus. Actually, maybe Arione should have waited. I hope she finds a good one.
This is Kendra Kelly here with GSTV's Panther Report. Today we're taking a look at the different bathrooms on campus to see which ones are good, which ones are bad. When you really gotta go, where should you go? Let's take a look. Panthers, take a look at where I'm standing. I'm on the second floor of GCB, General Classroom Building, and all I can say is, ew. There are paper towels, toilet tissue all over the floor. It doesn't smell too cute in here, and honestly, I just want to get out.
When you're in the library studying, working really hard, and you've got to go, how about coming down to Zaxby's Coffee? When you walk in, I'm sure you'll notice the great ambiance, complete with a flat screen TV and comfy couches. There's a private restroom in the back, and don't forget, when you leave, to support Zaxby by grabbing your favorite beverage.
So last semester we had a story about a really weird fish experiment that the fish companies decided to do. Do you remember that?
Ah, yeah. It was really interesting. The one with the genetically modified salmon, right?
Yeah, how weird was that?
Yeah.
Well, just for anyone who didn't get to take a look, let's go back to that story now.
I guess the bottom line is I don't have any problem eating genetically modified things. I eat genetically modified plants. We all do. We eat genetically modified corn. And I don't see a big difference between eating that and eating a genetically modified salmon. These genetically altered fish grow in the winter when the natural Atlantic salmon don't grow because their growth hormone gene shuts down in cold weather. So these fish have a gene from a very close relative. So it's not as if you're taking a non-salmon gene. They're taking a gene from a Pacific salmon, putting it into this Atlantic salmon, and then taking a promoter from a different species of fish altogether and putting that in. And the whole package allows you to grow all year. It basically allows that Atlantic salmon to not shut down growth during the winter, which means they get to adult size faster. But they don't become titan fish, right? They don't become these gargantuan monsters that you'd expect because they don't grow much after that time. Now, what would happen to those animals under field conditions? It's anybody's guess. It's anybody's guess. What would happen if some got out and persisted? But there are two things. So you could paint a doomsday story about some of these females getting out and those genes breaking into natural populations. And this has been targeted towards aquaculture that happens in sea pens. Most of the salmon that are farmed now are farmed in these big sea pens, which are kind of big closed nets hanging in the ocean. One of the big debates with regard to this FDA decision is right now, when you buy corn products, for example, from Archer Daniel Midland's, ADM sells, right, most of the high fructose corn syrup you eat is processed by ADM. They're a mega corporation. They are not required to tell you that there's genetically modified corn in those products. There is no requirement for plants, for crops that are genetically modified to inform the consumer that they're eating genetically modified materials. And here's why. And this is I think the big, there's a lot of issues with regard to this decision, but one of the biggest, I think, is a peripheral issue. Not do they get permission. They probably will get permission. But will they get permission to sell these salmon without having some kind of sticker label, warning label saying these are genetically modified animals? Those who really want to totally reclaim natural salmon runs are going to see this as a good thing, because that 25% of salmon added to the market is going to, for example, decrease potential demand on natural salmon. Now, is that a good thing? Well, if you're into conservation, it is. If your job is catching salmon from the ocean, that brings down your profit margin, right? So people who go out into the ocean and fish salmon are now going to have to compete with a cheaper source. And that's going to be bad for salmon fishermen. I think that every scientist should be concerned about what work they do. Some scientists consider themselves to be applied scientists, so that their primary goal is to develop knowledge or take knowledge and use it in a way that best benefits human society. Then there are scientists whose primary goal is to understand how the world works. Well, knowledge for the sake of understanding where we live better. So there are a lot of reasons, there are a lot of ways you could use that knowledge.
Ariel, we need to try and wrap this show up early.
Oh yeah? You got a hot date?
Maybe. I'm meeting up with Jean-Paul.
Oh, he's the French guy, right?
Yeah. He's one of the international students.
Okay, just be careful. He might try and sweet talk you with something like, voulez-vous coucher avec moi?
Okay, seriously, Ariel?
Well, foreign guys in movies say stuff like that.
I think you've been watching too many movies lately. Georgia State actually has a substantial international student population, and there are great parts of the university community.
Just trying to watch out for you.
I appreciate that, but in the meantime, why don't we look back at the story on international students at GSU?
Georgia State University is a special campus. There has been a growing number of diversity in the student body. Since the 90s, the number of international students has doubled. Only in 2009, 1,400 students walked this campus. This number represents 5% of the total student body.
I think international students come to Georgia State because of the wonderful academic programs. I think they come here because of this vibrant international city. I think they come here because of the weather, frankly. But they come first and foremost for the academics. But you're right, we have 1,400 international students here on some sort of visa, and they represent over 120 countries.
According to the data from the International Students Department, the top 5 countries that chose Georgia State University to study were China, followed by India, South Korea, Ivory Coast, and United States neighbor, Canada. Ina Cybers and Barbara Smith from Netherlands came here 7 weeks ago and are having the times of their lives.
All my friends will hear a lot of America, and maybe they're getting annoyed by it, but I don't care.
If you get the chance to do something like this, you should do it, because it's like an opportunity and an adventure, and it'll definitely change your life, because now we've been here, you grow a lot, you learn, you find yourself, you encounter yourself, and that's not easy at sometimes, but you learn a lot, and you just grow as a person.
Ow! What is that for?
Well, duh. You're not wearing green.
Why am I supposed to be wearing green? And by the way, we have a green screen behind us.
Doesn't matter. I really miss being the anchor for the St. Patrick's Day episode.
And if that can comes anywhere near me again, you're gonna lose it. Okay. Besides, you're not wearing green either.
Yes, I am. Remember, my underwear is green.
Why the sudden interest in St. Patrick's Day now?
Well, it's one of my favorite stories this semester. Let's watch it.
On March 17th, many people celebrate St. Patrick's Day. It was named after St. Patrick, the most commonly recognized of the patron saints of Ireland. Originated as a Catholic holiday and became an official feast day in the early 17th century, it has gradually become more of a secular celebration of Irish culture. Let's see what GSU students do for their St. Patrick's Day.
Well, from what I understand, it's a tradition that we have in America where we celebrate Irish heritage, and it's
I know it's an Irish holiday and you have to wear green, otherwise you'll get pinched.
There's lots of green involved. I know you're supposed to wear green. I think it's for the Irish folks.
So what do you plan on doing?
Put on everything green.
Drinking.
Nothing.
Plan on wearing green and getting wasted.
I'm gonna have a bruise because of you and all that pinching.
I'm sorry.
No, you're not. Fortunately, there are some nice people on campus that work to make our lives at GSTV a little better.
Like who?
Miss Judy.
Ooh, I love Miss Judy. Why don't we watch the story on her next?
I was just about to suggest that.
Okay,
Okay, hey darling, how you doing, darling?
She works hard every day. You usually see her at the second floor of Georgia State's University Center. She's always happy, bringing a positive attitude wherever she goes.
Good morning, I'm Judy Bigby and I work at Georgia State University. I'm the GSTV custodian and I'm the one that cleans the office. I do the whole second floor of the University Center and I do the GSTV. I also do the radio station. I do Centerfest Theater. When I first started here, I said to myself, I said, wow, this seems like a family. And I try to make them happy too. I really do. If anything go wrong, they come to me. You know, it's like, well, okay, well, Judy, why are you the one they come to ask, you know? But I like my coworkers, I really do.
Even when she encounters negativity, she always tries to set a positive example.
She was in a real bad mood, and we was in the ladies' room. I washed my hands, and I spoke to her, and she like looked real ugly and didn't say anything. And I say like, okay, well, you have a blessed day. And she came out and she went into career service. She realized she was wrong the way she approached me. And later on, she came to me and she had to hug. She had to apologize. I'm so sorry, I had a bad day today. I say, well, you know, okay. And the next day she came back and she changed. She was like a whole complete different person. So it's like I try to make people's day regardless of how you feeling. If you're feeling bad, you're not gonna make my day bad. I'm sorry, that's just on you, you know. And it's nothing wrong in saying good morning or good afternoon. So while you cleaning, it's good to be happy and jolly and in a good mood also. You don't have to always be in a bad mood, but when you go enter our office, you always want to say good morning or good evening.
She's always happy, bringing a positive attitude wherever she goes. So we ask her, what is her little secret?
It's nothing like being happy, because when you're unhappy and sad, you have high blood pressure or headaches. A lot of people doesn't realize that's what causes a lot of sickness is because of sadness and unhappy.
Originally from Atlanta, she has seen the many changes that the city of Atlanta and Georgia State University had gone through the years.
This was a real nice area. I used to go to the theater at the Royal Theater on Auburn Avenue, and my first job was the Citizen Trust Bank. It used to be on Auburn Avenue, and then I was one of the first black tellers that helped them move in the saving tellers that moved into the Citizen Trust building.
She's a lot like a mother to many students, and she always makes sure everyone is doing just fine.
So little things that your parents not here to do for you, if it's nothing but give you a hug and ask you if you need anything or whatever I can do for you, I have to do it.
And she's always fresh and lively.
My mother just told me always care how you look at all times regardless of where you are or wherever you go. I always care how you look. My hobbies is I love playing Sudoku, I love puzzles, I love to read, and my three things is working, get my hair done, and go to church. I like it here. Yeah. Oh, okay. Bye. Valerie.
People, I'm in the mood for some sports.
Well, we have had a lot of sports-related clips this semester.
Plus, the one on the mascot. I still can't believe we were almost the Penguins.
Well, before we go into sports, let's look back at the university mascot story.
Sounds good.
Panthers. We see them everywhere, whether on campus or on our RDs, on our t-shirts or on our dishware. Panthers are the way that we show our pride. But how did this creature become our mascot? When was Pounce, our proud pod friend, introduced, and what are his origins? Let's go brush up on our Georgia State history. Did you know that originally we weren't the Panthers? Although Georgia State has been around since 1913, it wasn't until 1956 that the students got to vote on their next mascot. Panthers were chosen over penguins, and ever since then, the ferocious feline has become what represents Georgia State.
We need a new tradition, starting in 2010, we about to do it different. Football season is upon us, and we got us a team.
But what about Pounce? Where did he come from? Well, according to the archives in the university library, Pounce wasn't Pounce.
Pounce was Irby, the Crimson Panther, when he was first introduced in 1989. Then, in 1993, Real Characters Incorporated created Pounce, the Pounce that we all know and love now.
Straight from GSU, this is what us Panthers do.
Which brings me to my next point. Not much is known about Pounce except for what we see at sporting events. Well, I talked to Cassandra Pelledow to change all of that. So, Cassandra, you know as well as I do that I originally wanted to interview the student that's behind the Pounce mask, but I wasn't able to because of certain reasons. Could you explain for the viewers that are watching why that is?
We like to keep Pounce's identity a secret, so we couldn't have Pounce come here. And actually, we have an army of Pounces, so there's not just one student, but we can't let you know who he is.
I realized that in recent years, Pounce went through somewhat of a makeover. Could you explain that as well?
We tried to make him a little more fierce for football season. We had the same Pounce for a while. He was kind of round and curvy and smooth, which was cool. It went with basketball with the speed, but for football we needed something a little more aggressive. So now he's more like a wildcat. He has the sharper teeth, sharper angles, and we just fit with the new image.
Just a little more ferocious kind of. If students wanted to try out for Pounce, how would they do that? Like, what's the process for trying out?
Well, first they could either email me or it's on our website, email whoever the marketing GAs are. And I bring them in and we interview them. We find out about their class schedule, what year they are, if they work, so we can get a feel for their availability to know if they could actually do it. Then we put them in the suit, and there's 2 tryouts we do. We do one in a game where they would come to a game and work with our interns to get the feel of the game, and then the next game they would put on the suit for a little while, and we would see how they acted in it. Or if there's no games available, we bring them into the gym and we have them run around and we yell out scenarios at them. We're like, crying baby or rowdy fan, and just see how quickly they react and what they do. So it's pretty intense.
It's pretty cool. Last question I want to ask, when are the next tryouts for Pounce?
They are kind of just continuously done. We do one at the beginning of the year before football starts, but I get emails all the time, and so if someone's interested, we bring them in and we get them trained. So if you want to do it, just email me.
And the website is georgiastatesports.com, correct?
Yes.
Well, I guess this interview's done. Thank you for coming out for me.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. For more information about Pounce, you can visit the Georgia State Athletics website at georgiastatesports.com. In fact, you can even email the big guy at pounce@gsu.edu. Satara Koot for the Panther Report.
Hey Michaela, did you know that the university's softball team tied for the first in the Colonial Athletic Association?
Wow, I knew they'd been playing well, but first? That's amazing. Way to go, Lady Panthers.
Yes, it's a major accomplishment, especially since they have a new coach and all.
I wonder how they made the transition.
In our next news segment, we scoped out the team to get the story on their success. Let's see what else there is to know about the GSU softball team.
The Georgia State softball team has certainly had a season of change this year. Amy Dumas was hired as the new pitching coach before the season started, and partway through the season, assistant Roger Kincaid was asked to step up to the plate as interim head coach. These 2 major changes helped morph these 4 pitchers on the team into a true pitching staff.
Once they realized that we had enough confidence in them that we could pitch them anytime, anywhere, in any game, I think it kind of helped them come to grips with, okay, here's my role on the team, and here's what the team needs me to do to be successful.
Pitching coach Amy Dumas became a crucial part of this staff and has been a major player in the team's record improvement.
What they've done as a staff is unheard of. Their goal was a 2 ERA, and I think we're well below that. I think it's by far exceeded their expectations as well.
Pitchers include Aaron Collins, a junior who ranked near the top in the country in saves, McCall Langford, a sophomore who earned her first career no-hitter against Towson, Alana Thomas, a junior who has lowered her ERA each year since she has been a Panther, and Caitlin Medlum, a freshman who has already earned 3 of the CAA's weekly awards.
Well, one great thing about our pitching staff is that we have a great amount of versatility. You know, we have right-handers, we have left-handers, we have off-speed, we have speed and movement, and so no matter how good the hitters are on the other team, we know there's something we can throw at them that they're not used to.
It definitely makes it a lot easier. A lot of the pressure is taken off knowing that you have 3 other pitchers right behind you that are going to contribute and pick you up if you have a bad inning or anything.
This year is a lot less stressful than last year.
Like Roger said, it's a staff.
One of the most unique components of this Panthers softball team is the fact that this pitching staff consists of 4 players as opposed to most other college teams that have 1 ace and only use 2 pitchers.
They're very different. A lot of different personalities, a lot of different styles. Some of them, are power pitchers. Some of them are finesse pitchers. They're just a good mix, and they make up a good staff.
Even though these girls are all about business when they step on the field, there's also a special identity that goes along with stepping in the circle.
And we like to tell them they're the princess in the circle. They're the only position on the field that is enough of a diva where they have to have a circle drawn around them. They kind of like that.
The Panthers softball team is near the top of the CAA standings as they inch closer to the CAA tournament. According to Coach Kincaid, he is confident on his team's ability to perform well as they head down the home stretch. After an unfortunate loss in the championship game last year, GSU would love an opportunity to bring home the first CAA tournament title.
We still have all of our goals within reach. Number 1 goal is to win the CAA.
Be sure to keep an eye on GeorgiaStateSports.com as the team continues their pursuit of a conference championship.
Well, Michaela, it looks like we've reached the end of this week's episode. It's been great looking back on our favorite episodes of the semester.
Don't forget to visit the Panther Report's YouTube page at youtube.com/GSTV Panther Report if you've missed anything this season.
You can also check us out on Channel 75 if you're living in university housing.
Well, I'm Michaela Singleton.
And I'm Ariane Johnson.
Have a great summer.
Have a great summer.